1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You okay? One, two, three. Give me a sheet.
So did you see Roy on the internet this morning?
No,
Y'all good? Okay.
Why don't we go ahead and we'll come on up here and we'll start. We'll get started. Where's Donna? There's Donna. Somebody backing up? We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for coming out today. It's really my pleasure to have an opportunity to introduce our Secretary of State, Madam Hope Andrade, is the 107th Secretary of State of the state of Texas. Is a native from Bexar County, owned a small business there for, I guess, about 30 years. I'd say the thing that she and I have had many opportunities to be together at different events like this, and the things that we're proudest of are our grandchildren. And I know she has 3 grandsons, and so I have 3 grandchildren also, and so every time we get together, we just share stories. So it's really a pleasure at this time to introduce and to turn it over to our Secretary of State.
Thank you so much, Judge Whitley. It's always great to be back in Tarrant County. I want to congratulate you for everything that you do, for the leadership that you provide for this county. I happen to be across the street admiring your beautiful courthouse. So it's wonderful to be here. And Councilwoman, thank you so much for joining us. And Councilman Rivera, thank you for joining us. And Donna, also thank you for being here with us. But, you know, I've enjoyed working with the judge when I was on the Transportation Commission, and I love the fact that Tarrant County works together, and so thank you for that. But in my additions to duties as Secretary of State, Governor Perry named me Census Ambassador for Texas, and in this newest capacity, I'm excited to be personally visiting with communities throughout our state, such as Tarrant County, to remind Texans of the importance of their prompt response to the 2010 census. The census is important to our state for a number of reasons, but most importantly, it is our state's chance to secure the necessary representation and resources to meet our growing needs over the next 10 years. During the last census count in 2000, our state's participation was 67%, and that was 5 points lower than the national average. You know, as Texans, we always like to be known as the biggest and the boldest and the best. So today, I'm hopeful that by us all working together with our partners, we can increase our participation in 2010. Everyone's participation is crucial because if Texans go uncounted, Texas will be shortchanged. In fact, according to the Texas State Demographer, each Texan that is not counted could result in a loss of $13,500 in federal funds over the next 10 years to Texas state and local government. By now, individuals in this region should have received their census form in the mail. So I invite all of you to join me in filling it out, returning the form to ensure that we have a complete count here in the Lone Star State. Doing so, it's so easy. The questionnaire is just 10 simple questions. Also, it's safe. Federal law protects your identity, and the information that you provide in this form is completely, absolutely confidential and will not be shared with any other agency. So please, help Texas continue to prosper by remembering to do your part. 10 questions that take less than 10 minutes will help keep our state moving forward for the next 10 years. 10 preguntas que tardan menos de 10 minutos para contestar ayudará a nuestro estado que siga avanzando para los próximos 10 años. Si nosotros los tejanos no pueden ser contados, Texas pudiera salir perdiendo. Please, please, let's all do our part to make sure that Texas counts. Thank you so much. Turn it back to the judge. Thank you.
You know, it is very critical. I know we got the census at our household last week. We filled it out. It really is just a very, very short questionnaire, 10 questions for the first person in the house, and then you answer 7 questions for everyone else. And literally inside of 5 minutes, we were completed the form and had it ready to go and mailed it the next day. And it is absolutely so critical that we fill this out and that we get an accurate count. I can't even begin to tell you the number of boards or the number of committees that I serve on. And when we look at the allocation of funds from a federal basis, from a state basis, it always seems to come back to population. And I'm just thinking of a few. The CDBG money that we, Patricia Ward over there is our Director of Community Development. She helps in that, and that's one of that. The Ryan White. I sit on the Indigent Defense Task Force. We have formula grants that we put out. They're based upon population. We look at so many different things. We talk about transportation. And so much of our funding from a standpoint of how we divide the money that comes not only from the federal side, but also from the state side, comes into the region, we look at and we divide based upon a population formula. So this is absolutely critical in the funding part of the deal. And what happens is if we're not drawing down those federal dollars, then a lot of those services that we still have to provide, we have to provide it through property tax, or we have to provide it through other ways of raising revenue. And so it is so critical that we fill it out and that we get an accurate count of what the numbers are for Tarrant County. So I really do want to encourage everyone to take the time. Again, it'll take you less than 10 minutes to fill out the 10 questions. And so I would just encourage everyone to get that, to get it done, to send that back in so that we can be sure that we have accurate counts as we go forward. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce Kathleen Hicks, who is City Council for the City of Fort Worth. Kathleen?
Good morning, everyone. I'll be very brief, but I just want to thank our Secretary of State for being here this morning, our county and local officials. You can tell that this is an effort that all of us are engaged in. We realize how terribly important it is. Census Day, April 1st, is almost upon us. And I, too, just filled out my form, and it took a little bit less time, and I even got a reminder as well. So it's extremely important. And I know in the city of Fort Worth, in tough economic times, the federal dollars that the judge referred to are absolutely critical as we move forward as a community. So I look forward to continuing to work with you as we move forward. We have a lot of different initiatives going forward to ensure that we hit some of those hard-to-reach areas that in the past have not been counted. They are so terribly important. So thank you all for working with us, and we look forward to getting a complete count. Thank you.
At this time, I'll ask Robert Rivera from the Arlington City Council to come forward and make a few comments.
Good morning, everyone. This issue, this topic, truly affects us all. It is something that we should take the time to fill out the forms, ultimately because it will help with our future, help with the future of our community, help with the overall quality of life now and in the future. For just a few moments of time to fill out the paperwork and simply drop it in the mailbox, you'll help ensure a better quality of life for your children, grandchildren, improved roads, schools. And let's talk for a second about the numbers of population. Ultimately, the numbers of representatives that we have in Washington is based on this. Our congressional seats are based on this, and the state is in a position of increased growth in population. And so it behooves us to have as many voices fighting for the things that we hold true and dear to us here at the city level and at the county level and here in the state. And so I encourage everyone to please take the time to fill this out because it will improve the quality of life for all Texans. Thank you.
You know, we're very fortunate in this area to have a council of governments who really are tremendous assets to all of the communities inside of this North Central Texas Council. So it's my privilege at this time to introduce Donna, who's in the research area with the COG, to give us some remarks regarding the census.
Good morning. I'm Donna Coggeshell, and I represent the Council of Governments. And I want to say the Council of Governments supports these complete count activities. You've already heard how complete count affects representation, affects the amount of money we'll be receiving. And while we support those efforts, and we certainly want to see that we are accurately represented, we are accurately getting the amount of money we should our share. As data users, we are interested in having an accurate count so that we can do very good planning, and so we can have the resources we need to service our population. Accurate planning will help us understand what is needed and where it is needed. It helps us use our resources wisely. Things like transportation, health, education, and other community services will be affected by the outcome of the 2010 census. So we are encouraging you and appealing to you as data users, please encourage anybody you know who gets the form to please fill it out so that we can get an accurate count so we have good data when we are doing our work. Also, as a data user of census data that I use almost every day, I use census data, and I want to let you know that it is used to make very significant decisions. So a few minutes of time is going to have a huge impact, not just for 10 years, but we do long-range planning, so it actually goes beyond the 10-year horizon. So it's a significant thing to make sure that everybody does get counted in this census. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank, Madam Secretary, I want to thank you for coming out. Robert, Kathleen, Donna, we appreciate everybody. Again, we've got 10 questions, less than 10 minutes, and it will have a tremendous impact upon this region for the next 10 years. I guess at this point in time, if there are any questions from anyone, we'll be glad to try to address those questions. Any questions? Okay, then we're complete. Thank you very much.
Safe travels.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Very proud of you. You're a real inspiration. Thank you. And so are you.
Isn't it?
Someday.
Someday.
You'd be nice.
I give her a hard time.
I give it good and I give.
That's right.